Hey guys, second part of the video regarding the sump of the Tropheus and the cleaning session that did took long, a little bit more than expected, I would say. At least, as you can see, everything is running smoothly back to normal and to optimized way of working, I would say. So here, this is the paper. I show you. So you can see that the flow of the water through the paper is this time running smoothly, properly, meaning that you have a good difference of water elevation between the sump and between the height of the mechanical filtration. The second aspect, this is all the K1 micro are back to this moving bed section. I can close here the aeration, and you see that even without aeration we do have a little bit streaming water flow already doing the moving bed agitation, but this is not enough, and in fact it is really suitable for agitation of the K1 but also aeration in order to maximize nitrogen cycle and all the bacteria working for you in this module of the filter. And in fact I checked that it was an accumulation of not maintenance or error, I would say. This aeration, this air stone for example, is not working at all the same way that the new one is working. In fact it's blocked, calcification, calc a little bit everywhere, as you can see. And without here the K1 doing this agitation properly, in fact you have accumulation here on the grid of the overflow of the K1, and this accumulation of waste is clogging the grid, and at the end, something that I haven't checked since long, you have the surface going above and you have a kind of overflow here, but in fact the overflow is going over there. Well, it's hard to show you, maybe this way, yeah, you see. And this little K1's noodles unit did accumulated between the plastic and the grid, and in fact where in normal usage this filter is self-cleaning, the K1 were not moving at all. They did stop between the grid with a static biological filter, but it was turned in a mechanical filter, hosting against the grid some accumulation of waste, clogging the grid. And it did explain why here the water, even if the paper was new, the water was keeping a high level, okay? And the sensor just activated the paper way too often, and this is also explaining why the paper did fulfill the box way too fast, and I was not checking it properly, I would say. And at the end the sensor, the motor and the mechanical filtration was just letting the water overflow and skipping the mechanical filtration, and we had here accumulation of waste of fish, explaining why in the tank, even if I've done water change lately, I was not saying, okay, the algae as I told you in the previous video, but also increase of the nitrate. For this herbivore feeding such kind of dry food, not full of energy, I would say, enough for the fish, the question is not there, but compared to the discus, in theory you are not, and they are young, the biomass is not so high compared to this tank, so something else was not going the proper way. And in fact it was this filter with the mechanical filtration turned in accumulation of waste. Instead of the paper doing the job to put away the waste, in fact it was blocked behind the grid. So I don't know if you get everything. The fact is it did last a little bit longer than expected, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and I just were able to clean everything. I checked that on the bottom calcification, calc, a lot of calc is everywhere, for example, especially on the heater. So it's hopefully some titanium, acrylic titanium heaters. But when you have calc on it, it's not suitable, so I will have to clean it. But later, not this time, I empty the waste paper box. Here we do have still a little bit paper, and it will last longer this time. And after that, I had to clean a little bit the tubings and to rebuild everything back, like I'm doing here right now. Up, putting this guy on the position. Here, this is the pH sensor that I used to put in the moving bed in order to get it clean automatically as well. You have the card bridge, you have the UV filter back to normal. Here it's open for biological filter as well. And that's all. I did protected a little bit the battery when I moved the module to avoid the water to go inside. Other than that, you see, water of the tank is already, let's say, clean, but this is not as clean as it will be tomorrow, for example, or in one next video that I will share with you when I will do a water change and a taste of the nitrate to make sure that it does bring a difference. So that's all for today. Yeah, always nice when you come back home, and of course, instead of enjoying smoothly a night at your place, you have such kind of surprise waiting for you. The filter more than full, just emergency maintenance to be implemented on the road. And by the way, regarding some discussions that we could have times to times on some forum and other community, I clean all the moving bed with some tap water directly. So the chlorine in the water probably had an impact on the bacteria colony. I don't care. You see, I don't have any sun. I don't care neither. And you will see in the next day or next video that everything is going smoothly. Just trust your system. You have in such started aquarium already a huge amount of bacteria everywhere. So if you are not putting some chemical dangerous product to unbalance your tank, you really need to push or to do a big mistake, in fact. So one more time, that's all for today. Hope everything is going fine at your pace. Well, it's time to simply go to sleep, I guess. Ciao, guys.